The social cost of another drink is the sum of the private marginal cost the seller incurs and the external cost. The seller incurs costs to produce more of the product, but as the consumer drinks more, they put at risk other people because they become more dangerous drivers. The extra risk the other people, the bystanders, face is the external cost. And the social cost includes both the cost borne by the seller and the cost faced by bystanders. Without government action, the social cost curve is above the supply curve. Let's look at this. Let's draw the supply and demand graph. Let's draw a supply graph, actually. Here's quantity. We're going to measure price or dollars on the vertical axis. Here's our normal supply curve. And let's say that's quantity of 100. Well, the height of the supply curve is determined by the marginal cost borne by the seller. Private marginal cost. In a competitive market, a firm is willing to sell an output only if price equals that marginal cost. So the height of the supply curve will be determined by or equals the private marginal cost paid by the seller. Well, that 100 drinks also imposes a external cost on bystanders. People are more likely to be killed or injured by drunk drivers. So if we add on top of that the external cost, EXT cost, there's a private marginal cost. If we add on top of that the external cost, we will obtain the social cost curve. Social cost. The social cost is higher than, or it's above, the supply curve. The supply curve reflects the private marginal cost without government intervention. The social cost curve is higher than the supply curve without government action. Which two curves determines equilibrium quantity? Well, that's our old friend supply and demand. Demand, supply, their intersection determines the equilibrium quantity. We determine the socially efficient quantity. The socially efficient quantity is determined by the social cost curve and the demand curve. QSE, we'll call that. Without government intervention, the equilibrium quantity is greater than the socially efficient quantity. We can show this easily with our graph. Here's quantity. Here's dollars. We've got an upward sloping supply curve. We'll do the demand curve in blue. And now we're going to add to that a green social cost curve, which is higher than the supply curve. Social cost. We know that the equilibrium quantity is determined by the intersection of supply and demand, QE. The social efficient quantity is determined by the intersection of the social cost curve and the demand, QSE. And you can see pretty quickly that QSE, in this case, is less than QE. Or flip it around, QE is greater than QSE. The equilibrium quantity is greater than the socially efficient quantity without government action. The next lesson, we're going to talk about what the government could do to make the equilibrium quantity equal to the socially efficient quantity.